It's the Slam Dunk.
It's little wonder that Kiwis can't keep up with the cost of living. I want to spell this out for you. Our wages simply haven't kept up with the rapidly ballooning cost of living. With inflation hitting 7%, food prices are up 6% year on year, and our wage growth has gone from 2.4% to 3.8%. At least it's gone up. Probably largely thanks to the lady I'm going to interview very shortly. But it hasn't kept up. Do the maths. It doesn't stack up any of that, does it? Just for the basics. As a result, Kiwis have been asked to do the impossible these last 2 years, which is somehow cope. Let me spell this out for you. The hand that takes from us never stops taking, yet the hand that gives us something in return is rare, and it still hasn't delivered this tax relief, apparently. Despite all the talk, National's tax cuts are always underwhelming. Hundreds of thousands of mortgage holders now pay almost twice what they were paying just 2 years ago, due to the most brutal rise in the OCR that I can remember in my lifetime. It has sent people to the wall. Reagan from Where's My Money podcast paid $4,000 in repayments for his mortgage a month when he bought his house. He's now at $8,000 a month. Just $700 of that $8,000 goes on principal. He's had to find $4,000 a month. Then came the utilities, and they all wanted to fleece us, and they did. Contact announced power price increases of 12%. Almost all the power companies have hiked prices, and there's new fixed costs that come in next year will add $15 a month to every power bill. Thanks very much. But at what cost? I'll tell you what cost. Pakuranga grandmother, Kalina Tepani, is in the media today saying that her place is so cold that her grandson's teeth regularly chatter as he jumps into her bed to stay warm. They can't afford the heat pump, and they don't watch TV. It's too expensive. Is this the New Zealand that we know and love? Hell no. 40,000 New Zealanders each day don't turn on the heater due to cost, apparently. Water rates went up on July the 1st for those who pay for water. Telco bills are up. Spark started charging for the extra mail. Used to be free a couple of months ago, then they put the broadband prices up last month. Rates. This is a debacle. They're well up. Councils needed to do better than this. Where are we meant to find this money that everyone keeps asking us to front with? Kiwi homeowners face an average rates rise of 15% over the coming year, 15% across the board, and there's no sign of relief in sight. Local government New Zealand came to that figure by collating all the planned rate rise increases of the 48 of the country's 78 councils. Okay, among those likely to see the biggest rates hikes this year. Listen to this: Canterbury residents are facing a hefty 24.2% increase. Hamiltonians are likely to see 19.9%, while Whangarei is looking at a record 17.2% increase in their rates. That's so big. How are you meant to find that money? They say they can't cut anything else, but 24, 19 and 17% increases are horrific. People just can't suck that sort of increase up. So what about the relief? What relief? Prepare to be underwhelmed. National's tax cuts are still a month away. The cut in the OCR might even come at the same time. We needed help and support months ago. Tax cuts are such a slow and efficient tool to help us. But I expect most of you have spent them twice over already. The tax cuts amount to $2 a week if you're on $35K. So if you're on $35,000, and then many part-time workers are, because people want more hours, you get $2 a week. It's $2.19 if I want to be exact. $6 on $60K and $20 a week on $100K. And we're still waiting for them. Sure, it's a step in the right direction if you want more money, but your power bill increase will take your tax cut, just like that. It already has. Nothing has reduced or become cheaper. But last week we saw signs of a turn, with the food prices taking their first backward step in 6 years. So a $4.50 loaf of bread became 1 cent cheaper. I mean, seriously, 1 cent cheaper. No one was going to round that down. What I find most heinous, though, is this really difficult period, is just how much our utilities and banks have screwed us. Banks made close to $10 billion profit in the last 12 months, the big Aussie banks. That all goes to Sydney. And our power companies, New Zealand owned and operated, so the 4 big power companies, they made $2.7 billion. Did they really have to hike the prices on us after that? $2.7 billion. How much do you want from us? It's tone deaf. Give us a break in our hour of need. No, what did we do? We put the boot into Kiwis and demanded more. Profit. Screw the little guy. Shareholders are their number one priority. The owners of the assets, which was arguably us back in the day, we are merely cannon fodder or collateral damage. That is, they can and they will sting us, and they are. As a result of all this, unemployment's risen, but it doesn't tell the full story. 575,000 New Zealanders are what I would say underemployed. They're in part-time work and they want more hours. Youth unemployment's 12.4%. That's 3 times the country's rate of unemployment. Just last quarter, New Zealanders spent $740 million less in the retail shops compared to the same quarter the year before, because we don't have the money. And now comes the pain for retailers and restaurants and cafes. They're empty. We can't save them because we're not eating out like we did. We can't afford to. But watch the carnage as the restaurants close. We saw it with SPQR, this fancy Auckland eatery in the past few days. The Reserve Bank Governor must now see this pain. And surely he can't let this stretch into next year. Hasn't the job been done? I mean, we've been dealt to by inflation, and getting the economy back on track has been a slow crawl. But New Zealanders are now going without heating, jobs are being lost, businesses are going under, and we're still doing that by design. We created this slump. The economic cost is huge. The social costs are even too big to contemplate. But we can design this differently. We can call off our dogs now, and it's time, surely it's time. I personally think the government's tax cuts, if anything, are the last thing that we need. They put in jeopardy the recovery because surely that's inflationary to pump money into the economy. And it might just slow the Reserve Bank's decision to cut the OCR, all for the sake of a few bucks and a promise. I think the tax cut should have been delayed, not cancelled, but just delayed. Anyhow, hopefully soon we can see the wood through the trees, or whatever that term is. We're almost there, folks. I reckon we're almost there.